stake has been won. Yudhishthira had lost everything. His kingdom, his palace, his wealth, his brothers, and even his wife. By sheer deceit, Shakuni and Duryodhana had defeated and enslaved the mighty Pandavas. And it happened just like Shakuni had promised, in one day, without shedding a single drop of blood. It was a sad day for the Kuru kingdom. Evil had seemingly won. The genesis of this situation was just a small seed, Duryodhana's jealousy. Such seeds are sown in our minds all the time. If we do not make a conscious effort to crush it in its infancy, it will grow into unmanageable proportions and misguide us into performing immoral actions. While Yudhishthira had every right to pet his possessions and arguably his brothers, did he have any right to gamble Draupadi? We will see what is to follow in the next chapter. Namaste.
Namaste.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Alright. Namaste, everybody. So this is a pretty fantastic story. And it's very significant because the entire Mahabharata can be split into two. It can be split into two as everything that happened before the game of dice and everything that happened after the game of dice. Duryodhana was always jealous of the Pandavas. We know that he was always jealous of the Pandavas. He wanted to get rid of them. He tried everything. When you guys go back, you can read or read the comic books or listen to the audiobooks of those chapters. He always wanted to get rid of the Pandavas. No matter what he tried, he couldn't do anything. The game of dice is the chapter, is the incident that really escalated the situation into its new heights. There was no turning back. The Pandavas were humiliated beyond a certain point, and there was no coming back after that. After this, there was only going to be war from both sides. Till this point, the Pandavas never reacted to Duryodhana's advances of wanting to hurt them. They never reacted. They always said, we don't want to fight, we don't want to fight, we don't want to fight. This incident took it to a completely different level. But let's look at the characters first. The characters wanted to discuss today are Yudhishthira, first of all, Shakuni, Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra, Vidura, and Bhima, just from the story. Let's start with Yudhishthira. Let's start talking about what did he do, what is the right thing he did, what is the wrong thing he did. Now let me give you a little bit of history because we've missed a few chapters and we jumped into this. Sage Vyasa comes to Yudhishthira just before this chapter, a little while ago, and he tells him that Yudhishthira will be the cause of the destruction of this entire Kuru race. Yudhishthira was very depressed on hearing that news. I will be the cause? Really? And then he makes a promise. He says, the only way I'll be a cause of destruction is if we have a misunderstanding with my cousins. So I will make a vow today that no matter what Duryodhana says, Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra, no matter what they say, I'm going to say yes. And if I say yes to everything, there won't be a misunderstanding. They wouldn't want to fight with me for any reason. He makes this vow. And that is the single most reason why he says yes to gambling when they ask him to come and gamble. This is very important to keep in mind. So with that context, let's first start talking about Yudhishthira. Chintan.
Okay, so what are some bad qualities or good qualities that you could see during the dice game?
Like a good quality is he gave himself up. I mean, he doesn't have anything else to give, so gives himself.
He gives himself. Okay.
He usually really forfeit the game. It's going to wheel.
So that's a bad quality.
Alright, sounds like a bad quality.
Well, he was persistent, but he used it in a bad way.
Okay. He was persistent but used it in a bad way. Okay.
Kept his promises.
He kept his promises. Like with all he bet, he promised What about him wagering Draupadi? Was that good of him, or bad of him, or even his brothers? Bad, okay. Anything else? Any other good qualities that we could see?
What was Yudhishthira addicted to? Why did he keep playing? What was he addicted to?
Gambling, okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Gambling is just a method, it's a symptom of something else that we are addicted to. What we are addicted to is the idea of winning. There is an adrenaline rush that occurs in our body, a physical chemical reaction when we win something. The same thing that happens when we get likes on Facebook. It's, I achieved something, I got something. It's a very same thing. It's a very same physical chemical reaction that happens in our minds, in our heads, in the brain. So Yudhishthira was addicted to the idea of winning, and gambling was a method when he gained that. So he couldn't let go of it. He could have stopped any time. Even Duryodhana himself says, I'm not forcing him to play. I've invited him to play. He can get up and walk away anytime. He could have walked away when they lost horses and elephants, just walked away. When they lost a kingdom, they could have just walked away. Nobody forced him to bet himself or his brothers or Draupadi, for example. The first thing was he was addicted to the idea of winning. The second thing is Yudhishthira, who's the eldest brother of the Pandavas. Anybody?
Who's the eldest?
Eldest brother of the Pandavas.
Yeah,
Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira was the eldest brother of the Pandavas. Now, in the Ramayana, who was the eldest brother?
yeah, wrong.
Rama. So yesterday we saw the kind of role model that Rama was, the kind of role model that he exhibited, and his brothers followed him. Yudhishthira was also a role model, as in Yudhishthira was also the eldest brother, his brothers followed him. So when you are the eldest brother, when you have set the stage to be a role model, it's all the more important, not just for yourself, but for the people who are following you, to live such a life that is pristine, to live a very pure life. And Yudhishthira couldn't see the difference between being pure and staying true to his promise or vow. And he kept playing, he kept playing, he kept playing. Not only did he do harm to himself, he did harm to his other four brothers as well. I say this as a couple of major points in which Yudhishthira could have done things differently. Let's talk about Shakuni.
What about Shakuni? What are some qualities that we saw? This should be an easy one, yeah?
He's kind of cheating because it's made out of his dad's work. And like apparently, it follows whatever he wants. Like,
Yes,
Okay.
follows whatever he wants, and that's cheating. True, thanks. What else?
Yeah.
greedy.
Greedy? Okay. In what way? Because he wants Duryodhana to win and he's trying to help him amass everything he can, right?
I guess he can be considered loyal by sticking with Duryodhana all this time.
Okay, so he said loyal because he stuck with Duryodhana and Kauravas during the entire conflict.
Sure. Shakuni's loyalty came out of another motivation. And when you go back, start listening to the other chapters in the app, from chapter 4 or 5 onwards, somewhere around 8 or 9, Shakuni's motivation will be exhibited. I don't want to tell you this now, but I guarantee you it was not loyalty, though it seems like that in this chapter. It's a little bit more sinister reason than this.
Does anyone know already the reason why he is doing all this?
I think it's like revenge or something.
Revenge for what?
It's like his sister.
Do you guys know his sister is Gandhari?
Yeah,
And, yeah.
his sister.
I'm not sure, but his brother is in like jail. I have to
So I couldn't hear that.
He's saying that Dhritarashtra put Gandhari's brothers in jail. Their family.
Very true. And so what happened? That's a great point. So what happened after that? What did Shakuni do, swear to do?
Take revenge.
Take revenge on Dhritarashtra, right? So, in a way, he's acting loyal, but in the end, his true motivation is to kind of get revenge on Dhritarashtra and his clan or family, right?
So think about it from Shakuni's shoes. That's exactly the point. Think about it from Shakuni's shoes. Dhritarashtra did wrong to my dad and my brothers. He killed my dad, he killed my brothers. I want to get rid of him and his sons. I want to get rid of that entire kingdom. But I don't have the power to do it. Who does? The Pandavas do. I can't go and tell the Pandavas, go fight Duryodhana for me, they'll not do it. So the only way I can do it is to cleverly scheme a misunderstanding or a fight between these two, and when they fight, both of them will get destroyed. I really don't care about Pandavas winning, Kauravas winning, or any of that. I just want this whole race to go away, because my race was destroyed by Dhritarashtra. That was his motive. Let's talk about Duryodhana himself.
What about Duryodhana? Any good, bad qualities? Yeah.
Jealous.
Jealousy.
Jealous. Great. Samyuta, right?
Meda.
Meta. Okay, I couldn't see the face. Meta. Cool. So what does jealousy stem out of? So why does jealousy happen?
Because he felt inferior.
Inferior to the Pandavas. Okay. Why do you think he felt that?
Because they had like a nice palace.
They had a nice palace. You could argue that they were more skilled in whatever weaponry, etc.
It's not robotic.
What? Your voice cut out a little.
Okay, yeah, now it's fine. It's back up. What do you think?
She said that Duryodhana was like, he felt inferior to the Pandavas, either whether through their wealth or their skills in weaponry. Hello?
Yeah, I'm back now. What did she say again? Sorry, one more time.
She said that he felt Duryodhana felt inferior to the Pandavas, whether it be
Excellent.
their wealth or their skills in weaponry.
Yeah, so let's take that the thing called feeling inferior. In what?
You cut out.
In what way? Because of wealth? Why did he feel inferior?
Okay, so if someone give an example of how he felt inferior when it came to wealth. Yeah.
He wanted all of it.
He wanted all of it, okay. What about when it came to like other skills, like weaponry or anything else?
Well, I guess like Drona favored the Pandavas. So,
Okay. And he was constantly kind of like taunted by Bhima, right? Bhima would always show off his superpower,
Strength.
super strength. Yeah.
So very, very crucial point to remember. Jealousy stems out of an emotion called entitlement. If you feel something belongs to you, or should rightfully belong to you, or that you are worth it, but somebody else gets it, you will feel entitled. Entitlement happens 90% of the time when things are handed on a silver platter. If you don't have to work for it and it's handed to you, entitlement happens. And when somebody else gets it, you feel really, really bad about it. That's the genesis of entitlement. And Duryodhana's biggest problem was that Dhritarashtra was enabling him all the time. Son, you're the best. Son, you're going to be the next king of Hastinapura. Son, you're the eldest of the Kauravas. You're the eldest, you're the best, you'll be the wealthiest, you'll be the king, blah, blah, blah. And then finally, when the Pandavas came, he suddenly found out that Yudhishthira is wiser, Bhima is stronger, Arjuna is more skilled, and all of a sudden he felt, this is rightfully mine. It was handed to me. Now there are other people who are, I'm at risk of them taking over, and that is the genesis of entitlement. And when entitlement happens, jealousy happens. So anytime in your lives you feel angry about something, upset about something, find out what you're jealous about, and then find out what made you entitled. And when you find out what made you entitled, that is the only way we can fix it. We can't fix the anger, we can't fix the jealousy, but we can fix the root cause, which is entitlement. All right. The last person to talk about in this is Bhishma. So specifically, look at Bhishma's life. He was at a point where he could have taken some action. Yeah, he was at the assembly. Gambling was taking place. Of all people, he knew that it was wrong. He's the eldest. He could have just put his foot down and say, you guys have to stop this. But he did not.
So what does that show you? Since Bhishma didn't say anything at all, even when Draupadi was being humiliated, did he say anything? No. So why?
We haven't seen that yet, but then the gambling happened.
Yeah. So while Yudhishthira is busy betting away all of his things, including himself, his brothers, and eventually Draupadi, Bhishma saying nothing tells you what about his character?
Well, we know that he's really stubborn, and what he thinks, whatever he thinks is right, he thinks is right. So if he's not saying anything about this, then he might, I think he thought that there's nothing wrong with what they're doing.
Okay. Yeah.
He could be a little protective of his position because he's already, like, he's kind of high in Duryodhana's court, so he's trying to keep his position. So it shows that he's kind of like really protective of where he's at. He doesn't want to lose his high ranking because, I mean, you get treated better high ranking.
Right. So he doesn't want to take the risk of being thrown out or forgotten.
I heard that, but I didn't see who was talking.
Ishita.
Where?
Right.
Oh, yeah, okay, I see your hand. All right, I know people. Okay, great point. Let's see the second video. And before we see it, this is the next story which happens right after the game of dice. So keep that in mind. Chapter 30 I will relate the two. You see how the characters are named. Mahabharata stories for kids and parents. Available as MP3 audiobooks, comic books, comic videos, and storybooks. Visit www.gurukula.com. Chapter 38. The Humiliation of Draupadi. Duryodhana sent his servant to fetch Draupadi from her chambers. The servant related all that had happened and summoned Draupadi to the gambling assembly. Draupadi was horror-struck with the news that she had been waged in the game of dice. She commanded the servant, "O Sutta, go ask Yudhishthira whom he staked first, himself or me." The servant went back to the assembly and related Draupadi's question. Duryodhana was angry. "O Sutta, you are simply too scared to bring Draupadi." He turned to his brother. "O Dushasana, go fetch Draupadi from her chambers." Dushasana hastily walked to Draupadi's chambers, entered it, caught Draupadi by her hair, and dragged her to the assembly. Draupadi wept and wailed in pain, but Dushasana did not care. The sight of Draupadi in disheveled hair, dragged by Dushasana, shocked everyone. She was weeping. She was crying for help. She only wore a single piece of cloth, which now was only loosely covering her. She cried out, "Is there no one here to stand up to this injustice? Are the great Bhishma and Dronacharya and Vidura voiceless in this court?" Bhishma, Drona, Vidura and the elders were distraught, but they did not know how to react. Draupadi had been won and by law belonged to Duryodhana. But was it fair? They couldn't decide and simply froze up on that occasion. In life, we may face situations when we are in a dilemma. Whether good or bad, the prudent thing to do is to make up your mind, join a side, and face the consequences. By virtue of inaction, Bhishma and the rest virtually joined sides with the Kauravas, even when their heart told them that this was immoral. Dushasana dragged Draupadi further and shouted, "Slave, slave!" The Kauravas, Shakuni and Karna started laughing. They taunted the Pandavas and called them names. Bhima couldn't take the humiliation. He looked at Yudhishthira and cried out, "Oh Yudhishthira, while you had every right to wage your wealth and even your brothers, you had no right to stake Draupadi. I will burn the hands that gambled our dear wife in this wretched game. Oh Samadeva, bring me some firewood." Vikarna, the third of the Kaurava brothers, stood up and voiced his opinion. This assembly is filled with great kings and learned men. Why doesn't anyone answer Draupadi's question? Yudhishthira was tricked and coerced into waging her. Having lost himself, he was at no liberty to beg Panchali. Under these circumstances, I regard Draupadi as not being won. The elders applauded the young man's words, but Duryodhana, Karna, and Dushasana were quick to squash this opinion. Duryodhana danced in joy. His wish had come true. The jealousy and hatred he had been harboring for decades was at last quenched. He addressed Dushasana, "Oh brother, the Pandavas and Draupadi are now our slaves. Take off their clothes." Hearing this, the Pandavas took off their upper garments and tossed them on the floor. Dushasana walked over to Draupadi and forcibly seized her attire in front of everyone and began to drag it off of her. Draupadi yelled and screamed. No one answered. She appealed to the elders. They were unmoved. She looked helplessly at her husbands. They were in shock. With no one helping her, she cried out desperately, "Oh, Krishna, where are you? The Kauravas are humiliating me in this assembly. Oh, Madhava, oh, Kesava, oh, Lord, who is the creator of everything. Where are you? Please save me from these evil Kauravas." As soon as Draupadi uttered these words, Krishna, who was sitting in his kingdom hundreds of miles away, got up from his throne, took off his upper garment from his shoulder, and threw it to the ground. Magically, a new garment appeared out of nowhere and covered Draupadi as Dushasana dragged off the one she was wearing. The angry Dushasana caught hold of the new garment and pulled it, and another one appeared under it. And again this happened. As Dushasana kept disrobing Draupadi, a new one appeared under it, magically. Thus, Lord Krishna, the Savior, protected Draupadi from humiliation. Krishna was God himself. Krishna was Lord Vishnu incarnated. If he could save Draupadi, could he not have prevented the gambling from happening in the first place? He could have averted this incident altogether. Why did Krishna answer Draupadi's prayers alone? The moment and manner of Draupadi's prayer is noteworthy. Draupadi did not appeal to Krishna when she was summoned by the servant. She did not pray to Krishna when she was dragged to the assembly. When she was at her most helpless state, she prayed to Krishna, not just with words, but with total surrender. Surrender is key. God's help is always available when we are in trouble. Do we pray to Him with total surrender, or do we do it simply with our intellect? If we truly understand that nothing moves an inch without His will, and if we surrender in totality, we will see His presence in everything. This incident has been mentioned to explain the importance of praying to God in total surrender, not just with our lips, not just as a ritual. The crowd assembled in court cheered this magical incident. The humbled Dushasana retreated to his seat. Bhima, unable to witness what had just happened, yelled out in wrath, "I make a solemn vow today amidst everyone. I will kill Dushasana in battle. I will tear open his chest and drink his blood for the terrible evil he has done." Bhishma and Vidura voiced their opinion and said that Duryodhana should stop this act, or else he is certain to bring destruction to the Kuru race. But Duryodhana barely heard them. Finally, Dhritarashtra spoke. "O wicked-minded Duryodhana, your actions are evil. You have tricked and insulted the mighty Pandavas." He then addressed Yudhishthira. "O Yudhishthira, I free you and your brothers instantly. Take your wealth and riches and go back to your kingdom with your wife and live peacefully." Duryodhana was furious that the king had undone all their hard work. He came up with a counter plan. "So be it, let the Pandavas take everything back. But let us play one last time. This time, the wager is that the loser should go and live in the forest for 12 years, and the 13th year in incognito. If they are found during the 13th year, they should exile themselves for another 12 years. If the loser completes 13 years in this fashion, they can come back and claim their kingdom from the winner." For the last time, Yudhishthira played. For the last time, Shakuni rolled the dice and said, "Behold, I have won." The Pandavas, clad in deerskin, went into the forest in exile for 12 years, and the 13th year to be spent in a foreign land, unrecognized. Duryodhana, Dushasana, their brothers, Karna and Shakuni, danced in joy. They rebuked and insulted the Pandavas, who walked the streets like common men en route to the forest. Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva, all vowed that they will avenge this humiliation. Yudhishthira led the way. Draupadi, tears running down her cheeks, silently followed them. We will see the lives of the Pandavas in the forest in the next chapter. This chapter is part of the Mahabharata. Okay, How stupid was Yudhishthira having gotten everything back when asked to play one last time? He played one last time and lost again. And that is how much his addiction was. Chintan, let's write the characters on the board so we can get everybody tracked for the exercise.
Yes. Okay, good.
So we'll start with the few characters we saw in the Panchatantra.
Yeah, I already have Devavrata, Shantanu, Damanaka, Pingalaka, Dasharatha, Rama, and Lakshmana. Are there any others
Okay.
that we missed?
No, that's also right. Maybe Vardamanaka. The merchant. Dasharatha, Rama, Lakshmana, you've written Devavrata and Bhishma and Shantanu. That's right.
Yeah.
Amba.
Okay.
She wanted to take revenge. That's right. Duryodhana. Shakuni. Yudhishthira. Draupadi. Dhritarashtra. So I'll mention this quickly. And as I mentioned in the video, Draupadi experienced what in her final stage, when she had no other option, that's when she chose to absolutely surrender and pray, and she got help. So praying is not just a ritual, praying is not just being skeptical about will I get it, will I not get it. Praying is about praying with surrender and following that up with actions of our own. And that's what Draupadi did. So Draupadi, Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana, those are the characters that we will take from here. The exercise is, let's divide yourselves into 4 groups, and each of the group take a handful of characters and prepare a chart. And the chart will have the dharmic qualities. The chart should have the dharmic qualities and the adharmic qualities, and map them to characters, or you can write a short, like 2 sentences of what incident that happened with those characters that where they exhibit those dharmic qualities or adharmic qualities. Chintan, do you want to split them now, or can you do that later?
We can split them right now. So
4 in each.
4 groups. How many of us are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 18.
18.
Okay, so 2 groups of 4, 2 groups of 5. So this first row can be just 1 group of 5. Second row will be another. You know,
Second one is 4.
5, 10,
16,
16.
right?
Okay, 4 groups of 4 then. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Group 1. 1. Meda, Rashik, Shivateja. You're the next group. Pavin, Shamakrishna, Nandini, and what's your name? Vaishnavi. Yes, that's the next group, and then the remaining 4. Okay. So do you want them to choose who they're gonna do, or should we assign?
Let them go ahead and choose, I guess. You can.
Okay, so group 1, choose a character.
Let's have one person from each group write it down,
Yeah. Okay.
what their characters are. So nominate one person.
Can we only pick one character?
No, we're gonna do multiple. There's 14 of them. That means 3. So 2 groups will do 3, and 2 groups will do 4 characters. So group 1, you guys gotta choose. You have 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
No, you're done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Group 2, choose. 3, 2, 1. They have a Group 3, choose. 3, 2, 1. Rama. Okay. Group 4, Group 4 said that?
No, no, they didn't.
We're gonna come back since you guys got first choice. Group 4, choose. 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Lakshana. Okay, group 3. Shantanu. Okay, group 2. Amba. 1. Okay, 1. Two.
What did group 1 choose?
Shantanu.
Okay.
You have 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. 3. Okay, 4. Quick. 3, 2, 1. Okay, you're bingo like that. Okay, 4 again. 3, 2, 1.
Where's the Monica?
3. Group 3.
Only one.
Okay, what is it? Dominic.
How many minutes?
We're doing activity now, right?
Yeah,
I think we're doing it on our own in this.
I know.
Yeah.
True, okay, can I just, 1 second, can I just, where can he see me, where should I stand for him
Here.
to see me?
Here.
Namaste Mahodaya.
Namaste.
Mahodaya, श्रूयते खलु?
Ah.
अस्तु इदानीं, today is a shortened schedule, right? So from 10:15 to 10:30 was their activity time, so is that what they started doing?
Yes.
Okay, so by 10:30 they can finish whatever the activity they are doing. Okay, and what about that chart making? That's also, that's the activity.
That's part of the activity.
Okay,
So
so-
they'll start now and then do it during the chart time, whenever you assign it.
15 minutes is enough, right? Not the 30 minutes, if they don't have, that's fine, right?
Yeah, that's fine. They'll start now and then they'll continue in another 15 minutes, they can finish.
Okay, fine. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So someone in
Okay,
group
so
1,
I'll
write down.
Go ahead and,
Yeah. Okay, everybody has their people, right? So you guys can separate, maybe group 1 in this corner, group 2 back there, group 3 there.
Chintan,
Yes.
can everybody assemble for a quick second?
Okay, actually, wait. Everybody look up front. Go.
All right. Thank you very much. Today's the last day of these sessions. We won't have the session tomorrow. We have other activities. I'll be back for the final